Alright guys, so I just wanted to showcase my loot system again. Um, I've been doing a lot of work on it lately, and I just kind of wanted to show off a few of the new features here. So first of all, I went in and decided to add a bunch of character stats for the actual player. This is all hard-coded into the C++ as U properties. Character level. These are all editable basically in the editor. They're all edit anywhere basically. So I can change my character level to 1, and that will affect the actual game. The character will be level 1, and all of these other values will be calculated based on that level. So every value in the game right now, except for like all of the player normal values, the loot item values, those are all calculated by the player level. They're all based off of the player level. The only things that are not are on the loot. There are like between 3 and or 2 and 5 stats that you can get, and those are percentages. And right now those are random values, but they are not they're not based off of the level yet. They're not based off the player level yet, which I just haven't gotten to that yet. But as far as health goes, everything else, um, uh, total stamina, weapon DPS, and all that stuff, that's all based off of the actual character level. So I'm going to start this up here. And um, so at level 1, my health is 20. My base health is 20. This is the total health also. But basically, this is the total health. But because I have no gear on, it's not calculating any gear to make it higher. If I had gear with stats, that would actually change that value. Weapon DPS is kind of the same thing. It requires, it's like there's a formula for that. And damage, there's also a formula. But because I have no weapon, it's not giving me any weapon DPS aside from the 1, and the damage is then thus taking that 1 and pushing it through because there's no weapon DPS number that's actually more than that. So, but when you come over here, you get sword, right? Sword has 49 DPS, armor 4, stamina 4, intellect 5. It also knows that intellect is the player's stat right now because I have an enumeration that is set by either myself or I can actually set it in the game at runtime. But for the character, it allows you to say that this is the stat that this character gets. That is their primary stat, and it will always, all the gear will always drop with intellect on it, as you can see. So we can come over here, we can get whatever we want. The shield, it's all going to have intellect, and it's all going to have stats that are based on it. Now these 5 stats at the bottom, again, those don't have anything to do with the level right yet, but the armor, stamina, and intellect are all calculated based on your level. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you some of my loot just flies out of off the screen, which is pretty awesome. But so 48 DPS, right? Okay, so let's exit this. Now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to set this to strength, and I'm going to change this to level 30. So we're going to be level 30 now, just right off the bat. I can see what the gear is going to drop like at level 30 by just changing this number, and it automatically updates everything. And I can go back in the game, and I can loot. My health is now, this is my base health is now 600 because I have no gear on. So this is showing only the base health. My weapon DPS is actually 30 because that's my level is 30, and my damage is now 30 because of that. If I had gear or weapons and stuff, it would actually change those values. So now we're going to go over here and we're going to try to see what we can find. So now you can see the armor and stamina have changed to different values, and they're actually higher values, and the intellect value has changed to strength because I changed that. So that is now strength. On all the items, it's strength. 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 See? Let's go get a weapon and let's see what the DPS looks like now. Here we go. A royal sword. Look at that. 1210 DPS now, with 85 armor, stamina at 100, and strength 74. Let's go back in here. Keep going. Look at Royal Offhand. That doesn't have any. Here's a DPS. 1442, 153 strength, but lower stamina value there. Now, let's see, another sword at 1415. Daggers, 1243. And no more weapons for that. So let's go back out. Let's exit that. And let's change this number to the max level, probably, which would be 50 for right now in all cases. I don't know what it's really going to be, but at this point, I'm setting it at 50. And so now 50 will allow me to maximize those values and see what they would be if the character was level 50, right? So now my base health is 1000, my weapon DPS is 50, because that's my level, and then my damage is 50 at the moment. And basically, here's a bow, 2429 DPS, armor 130, stamina 151, and strength at 406. Those armor and stamina values rolled pretty low there, but the strength rolled pretty high. Let's see what we got here. This one, 2227, 203, 156, 147. I think what I need to do is really pinpoint the strength, stamina, and armor values. Make sure that they're not there's not a huge gap or distance between the minimum and the maximum, because they seem to be a little too gapped, a little too wide of a range. Like, it should be at a higher level. It should be, I feel like it should be more of like into the 300, 400, 500 range, and not so much down into the 105 range. So I just need to kind of adjust those values. Wow, that piece of loot just flies out of there sometimes. Look at that, shoots right up out of the sky. I just need to adjust that. I'm not sure what's causing that, but I've been looking into it. And another shield. Now, these 5 stats on the bottom again are going to change randomly. There's only going to be 5 right now because I've only got 5 plugged into the system to run. They were all just for testing. If I had more to choose from, it would be grabbing from those. And what's going to happen with every single one of these items, you'll never get a duplicate, because I have them automatically filling unique, so they will never duplicate. It's fills array with a unique item, with a unique stat. It cannot pull from the same array, the same item from the same array more than one time. So, yeah, I don't ever have to worry about getting duplicate stats on any of the items. And these are all real values that I can take. It's not just putting it's not just putting text on the screen. It is taking a value and turning it into a percentage and then displaying that percentage as text. So these values can be then placed into the character and calculated into your damage and stuff afterward. And that's already set up, basically. So the way that I have it working is that if these values were actually adjusting my character at the moment, I'm going to go ahead and close this, they would be adjusting all these, like character total health, character base health, primary stat, offset, primary total primary stat. All these things would be getting filled in and changed based on certain formulas and stuff that I have here, that all kind of calculate all my properties, my character's health, and all these different things. And so this gets set at runtime. I initialize the character stats with this function right here, and then I pretty much pull that up at runtime, and where is it? At begin play, I actually run that function, and later on, if I needed to adjust those values again, I would simply write another function or just call those values where I need to call them and set them at that point in time to a new value based off of the new gear or whatever else. So these, again, I have I can go agility, intellect, strength. You can set that. This can be set either way. This is just for testing. I put them all out here so that I can put them to whatever I want, change values. And these are DPS offsets. They should be called offsets. I haven't changed that yet. But yeah, aside from that, I could bump this up. Let's see what it would be if I was level 100. I'm kind of curious. I want to see if I think the DPS would be like 5,000 something. Let's kind of play around and take a look here. Alright. Look at that. Health of 2,000 DPS. And let's go. Ooh, look at that. Fucking 200, 300, 200. Royal Sword. There it is. 4,346 DPS at level 100. So, yeah, basically. And the orange stats are not 100% dynamic yet. They are going to be the same for specific items. Like if it's this specific item will have that orange stat, but the 75% can change. I just haven't programmed that yet. So I was planning on having things like where it may be the attack, it's the 3 closest enemies. I could have it so that it attacks the 5 closest enemies also, or something like that. Let's see what this does. Roll daggers. And so on this one, I don't even have the actual orange stat text in there yet because I haven't come up with it yet. Haven't created it. Royal gloves. This one's could be 45% increased block chance. I could have it go from like 20 to 45 or something. So yeah, these are basically, it's basically like again like a PoE, Path of Exile or Diablo style loot system, and it's practically almost fully functional now. Again, I'm working on the last little bits of it, but this is really getting there now, and it's at the point where really soon I'm going to be transferring it all into C++ now. I put these flying, my frame rate's not very good right now because I'm trying to stream at the same time here. But I set up the loot so that it spawns out in order. It doesn't just spawn all at the same time. I also set up the physics to kind of fly out and then bounce around and land. So I did all that today, and then I also set up so that the loot tooltip things here actually show up at specific times, like not right away, but a little bit thereafter, and they kind of just come out nicely, float around, and then land. The only thing that I'm working on now is getting it so that they don't overlap, and that would be pretty much the final touches on it. And then I can start putting it into C++. But at this point, I did a workaround where basically you can hover the items one at a time. That way, if you don't want to see them all, you don't have to. You can hit Alt and you can see them all again. But if you don't want to see them all, you just want to see one of them, then you can just hover over that specific item, and it'll show you. So yeah. Oh damn, that's got some collision right there. Oh, that's right. This has a key, and I clicked on it, so I can't open that door now, even if I grab the key, because it's broken like that. So anyway, that is that, and I hope you guys are enjoying my videos of this system and its progression. So hope to catch you next time. Thanks for watching, guys.